Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. We only have so much money, right? We want to spend it on a good bottle of wine. Today I'm going to do Chardonnay, and I thought I would do a Chardonnay from California, a Chardonnay from Washington, and then a Chardonnay from Burgundy, in particular Chablis. Entirely different regions, entirely different results. And if you ever want to know about terroir, which, you know, there's a big debate about that, which I do not totally get the debate. But if you want to argue terroir, that the soil in which the grapes grow affects the wine, all you have to do is go to Chablis, because I'm telling you, the seashells, the fossilized seashells, lime, all that stuff that is in the soil of Chablis definitely shines through the wine. Now it is true that a winemaker can affect terroir by oaking the wine. They take some of the characteristics, not just oaking, but by their methods of winemaking, they can take some of the terroir out of the wine. But, you know, most winemakers try to allow the fruit to express itself, and that is shown up in the wine. The first one we're going to try is something I've never had before, even though I'm very familiar with Stag's Leap wine cellars. There are two wineries with the name Stag's Leap. There was a big court battle as to whether or not the first winery said the second winery shouldn't be able to use that, but it's an appellation, so really it's not something the winery owns. Anyway, Winarski lost the battle. I don't know if they settled out of court, I can't remember. But the first one we're going to try is Stag's Leap Wine Cellars Hands of Time Chardonnay 2013 Napa Valley. Now I have to apologize, I wrote the prices down in a book and I left it at work. So I think this rolls in at under $20 if my memory serves me well. But what I will do is when I put this video out, I'll put the prices down below just so you know what they are. So this is an interesting one. I've had their regular Chardonnay, with just a Stag's Leap Wine Cellars label. I think it has a deer jumping across or something like that. Anyway, let's see what we get on the nose. So this definitely has that buttery, butterscotch, sort of pineapple nose. Definitely some tropical fruits going on. I get some pears. But there's obviously oak on this. Typical of Napa Valley Chardonnay. This is why people buy it. They want that kind of oak influence on their Chard. But I love the buttery butterscotch thing going on in the nose. Let's see what we get on the palate. Pineapple comes through. The oak it's not woody, but it's definitely there. It definitely influences the wine. I like the nose better than I like the palate. Definitely has some malolactic fermentation, making it a little bit creamier. Malolactic fermentation is when they do a secondary fermentation which takes the lactic acid, which is a much tartar acid, turn it into malolactic acid, which is a much softer acid. Yes, so that makes it creamy. I definitely get the pears, I definitely get the pineapple, but I think the oak is a little bit strong on this. It definitely makes it a little bit awkward. It's not overpowering. but it seems to be prominent on the finish. There seems to be a little bit more oak. I think there's going to be some people that are going to really like this Chardonnay. I think it has some aspects to it that people are going to like. It has that buttery kind of softer mouthfeel that a lot of people are looking for. There's not a lot of acidity in this wine at all. It's good. It's well made, but I just think the oak takes over a little bit on the back end, takes away from that delicious factor. Not real excited about this wine, even though it might be around $20 range. I think it's a little bit under that. Again, I'll post that on here. It's just not exciting to me. I'm gonna go B- on that one. I'm gonna go C+. C+. I need to be just a little bit tougher on my grading because sometimes I think I'm a little too easy. But I'm gonna go C+ on that. I think it's above average, but not that great. Let's move on to the next one. By the way, and I mentioned this before, Chardonnay is still the #1 varietal in the United States. I had a Cabernet Sauvignon, so even though it was popular, I don't think it's so much popular anymore. ABC, anything but Chardonnay. People thought they were really cool if they didn't drink Chardonnay. Those days, even if somebody says that now, you know they're on their own because a lot of people still love Chardonnay. I like Chardonnay. It's great with crab. It's great with chicken. It's great with a lot of different things. It's a great food wine. It's also nice, you know, when you're cooking something for dinner, you know, have a glass of Chardonnay. I love it. Okay, on to the next one. Now I know this one rolls in at about $32. This is the Sparkman Cellars Lumiere Chardonnay 2012, Columbia Valley. Chris Sparkman is the head of the Washington Wine Commission right now. Love the guy. He's funnier. He's such a funny guy and such a nice guy. He came up and did a wine tasting for me. He did an excellent job. People are still talking about it, by the way. Let's see what we get on the nose. Okay, this has a little buttery thing going on, a little pineapple. I get some pears, which, by the way, you know, when you're doing a Chardonnay episode like this, you're going to get a lot of the same aromas, a lot of the same palate thing, because they're all Chardonnay. They all have a particular flavor profile. It just depends on how the winemaker tweaks it. This has a nice, deeper butterscotch edge to it. You know, like it reminds me of those Brock's, you know, butterscotch discs. Let's see what we get on the palate. Definitely more acidity to this wine, and it has a nice buttery edge. Get the butterscotch, get the pineapple. There's a little lemon going on. There's definitely an apple element that comes through. There's even an interesting herbal component to this wine. I get a lot of like dried herbs, tarragon and oregano, tarragon, more in the tarragon thyme thing going on, which it makes it very interesting. Now these are really close to room temperature, and I know a lot of you guys do not like to drink your whites at room temperature. The reason you drink white is so they'll be refreshing, so you cool them down. And somebody asked me one time, they go, you know, should you chill down a white? And I said, you know, it just depends. You get the colder it is, the less flavors you're going to get out of it. But you dry it up also, so if you have a real fruity wine, you can actually make it less fruity by making it colder. I think you need to find a happy medium, somewhere between 45 and 50 degrees is a nice temperature for whites. I try to review most of my whites in that range, because I know that's where most of you are drinking them. These are really close to room temperature. They're showing more of their other attributes. So, you know, it's just up to you. If you really want to see what the winemaker is all about, you know, get closer to room temperature. But at the same token, I think winemakers understand that most people drink their whites a little colder, so maybe in their efforts to make the wine, they're striving for that nice in-between. So anywhere around 45, 48, 50 degrees is a nice temperature to drink your whites, and you'll get a lot more out of them. Like that Chardonnay, it shows a little more balance than the other one. Of course, a lot more expensive, but that isn't always a driving point with the wine. I'm going to go B on this wine. I don't think it delivers a huge amount for the money, but it's still really well built. It's still a really good Chardonnay. It's definitely above average. I'm going to go B on that one. I like it a lot. Now, this is, let's give it a rinse here first. Now we're going into Chablis, way up north in Burgundy. All they do up there is Chardonnay. And the Fevre name is a Fave in Burgundy. This one is Nathalie and Gilles Domaine Fevre Chablis 2012. And again, I will post the price on this. I think it's in the $30 range, I believe. Maybe not, could be less. I can't remember. Sorry about that, guys. No, I'm not sorry. I'm just left it at work. Let's see what we get on it. Now, Chablis is one of my favorites. They definitely express terroir. So I get pears on this. Immediately, I get a little bit of that minerality, like crushed rock thing going on. There's definitely an herbal component to this one. I get a little bit of rind, like a melon rind, like a honeydew rind thing going on. But it has a roundness on the nose, which is interesting, I think. A little bit of pomelo pith going on. But definitely that crushed rock, that seashell thing is there on the nose. Let's see what we get on the palate. This is interesting. This is isn't the most mineral-driven Chablis I've ever had. Has a little bit of roundness to it, which I think a lot of you are going to like. It has a lemon-lime zest thing. There's definitely some crushed rock in there, especially on the finish it comes through. There's a steely edge, like a, you know, like if you're licking a stainless steel container, almost. Very dusty rocks on the finish with that nice, like, melon thing coming through, lemon, lime, herbal component, which I really like, which is where I think Chris Sparkman told me with the Sparkman Cellars that he was really trying to edge towards a Chablis style of Chardonnay. And, you know, this one really expresses what Chablis is all about. Really like this wine a lot. And if you got this colder, just a little colder, it would express more of that minerality, that more of that brightness would come through. But this definitely has a bright edge to it. Yeah, those dried herbs with that lemon, it's really delicious. You could have this with, you know, oysters and clams and mussels. It'd be delicious. And it'd be good by itself. Nice warm summer day. There's a lot of them ahead of us. You know, that Chablis would be great. There you go. Chardonnay from all parts of the earth. Thanks for watching. I hope I've enlightened you a little bit. And you know, right now the Open is going on over there in Liverpool, England, and you know, Rory McIlroy is ahead of everybody right now. Of course, that could change on Saturday. You know how golf is. I love golf, by the way. Golf pretty good last night. I was happy about that. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. You know, it's amazing to me, but this is only the second video I shot this week. It's been a busy week. I did the same thing. I was going to do a Cab Franc episode. Sorry guys, I tweeted about it, but I came home, didn't have any of the pricing like this. But I wasn't going to stop doing one today just because I didn't have the pricing. I will post it below. You know, have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Cheers, and here's to keeping the snob out of wine.